180 seconds of poetry. I am Jamain Hatton. Today we're looking at A Stone's Throw. The title A Stone's Throw is a pun. It tells us two things. One, in the Caribbean, we're accustomed to say somebody is a stone's throw away, to say they're close by. And the other contextual meaning it can tell us is that without God's intervening grace, we are a stone's throw away from committing a malevolent act or to have something unfortunate done towards us. Let's go into it. So, a stone's throw is really a recreation of an incident that happened in the Bible where a woman was brought to Jesus and he was asked whether or not he thinks she deserves to be stoned to death. So, this woman was committing adultery and they brought her to Jesus probably while in the act of stoning her, and they're asking Jesus if he thinks she deserves to be stoned to death. And of course, Jesus will see the idea of God, will see this woman different to these Pharisees. The Pharisees are the persons who were doing the stoning, so they are seeing her as a sinner, but they fail to see that themselves committing the act of murder is also a sin. So they claim to be virtuous and serving justice. But really, they appear to be godlike, or they think they are godlike, but they fail to realize that they are being hypocrites because someone in that crowd might just be lusting off of this woman, but yet they are there about to stone her to death. We see the repetition of eyes. Of course, one of the Pharisees is actually the speaker. So, one of the persons who were actually stoning this woman to death is one of the speaker in the poem. And we see a repetition of eyes. He starts by saying, he turned his eyes on us, her eyes on us, our eyes on ourselves. And with the repetition of eyes, it tells us that Jesus saw something in the Pharisees that the woman did not see. It tells us that Jesus saw something in her that they might not even realize in themselves that they were sinners. He saw beyond the robe or the religious appearance that they had, and he saw that they were just hypocrites. And then he realized, he turned her eyes on them. So he gave her the impression that, you know what? They are no better than you are. And then when they themselves realized what Jesus did, they were guilty. They felt ashamed. So they walked away. And they walked away with stones to throw another day. What does that tell us? It tells us that even though they were going away, they still held the stone to throw another day. It meant that they were really not ashamed of what they did. They were really not ashamed of what they were doing, but they held those stones to commit the act another day. So we see a woman being punished. A woman, and oftentimes women in our culture, is punished for adultery. And that shows us as a sexist society we're still living in. It starts with a feeling of disgust. The writer presents the attitude of disgust by these Pharisees that are showing themselves as superior. And it kind of irks us, it kind of makes us upset. But we see compassion. We feel compassion when we read it. We feel compassion towards this woman here. What's the message here? The message is that sometimes we are very close. We are eager to punish people for a sin, and we fail to realize that we ourselves have sin of our own. We ourselves commit sins of our own, and we should not really punish people because we just sin differently to them. A stone's throw. Elma Mitchell. Just over 180 seconds of poetry. Goodbye.